Hey everybody, how's it going? This is John from Jeep Budget Build. A couple of weeks ago, I did a 2-inch spacer lift on a 2010 JKU Sport. Spacer lifts are easy to install. You can do them in your driveway or you can do it in a garage. You just need a basic set of hand tools, a jack, and a set of jack stands. This whole lift probably maybe took an hour. Very easy to do. I'll walk through everything that needs to be done with it. So first thing you need to do is get your Jeep on level ground, of course, and then from there I took a measurement of the original height of the Jeep and then jacked the Jeep up, got jack stands underneath the frame behind the front wheels, and then used the jack to support the axle itself at that point. Remove the wheels. From there you can disconnect the sway bar and the shock. I did both sides at the same time. This provides me with more flex to get the springs out of it. Both the sway bar and the shock use 18 millimeter bolts on them and nuts, so everything's the same size. Once you unbolt the shocks and the sway bar, you can now, from both sides, you can now lower the axle down as far as to go. Pretty much the only thing holding it out on at this point is the upper lower control arms and your brake lines. Brake lines are going to be long enough on the front that it's not going to impact anything with a 2-inch lift. You can then press down on the disc on either side that you want to do first, and the stock spring will pretty much fall out. Above the stock spring on the bump stop, there is a rubber factory spacer. It's an isolator up there. You leave that in there. You slide these spacers over top of it. They fit pretty tight. You might need to use a rubber mallet or hammer or something to get them up into place. Once they're in place, it's literally just reverse, push back down on your disc again, slide your spring back into place. The only thing you want to do is make sure you clock the spring. There's a cutout in the lower spring perch that the spring sits into, and it has to align in a certain angle. It's very easy to see. Use the jack your axle back up in place, reconnect your shock and your sway bars on both sides, and that's it for the front. Moving on to the back. The back does the same exact process. Lower the rear, or support the rear, take the wheels off, unhook your sway bar, unhook your shocks, and the only difference is there's not as much brake line in the rear, so I had to unbolt the brake line bracket also and drop in order to get enough room to drop down the rear. The springs come right out. There's no upper bump stop for the spacer to go around like there is on the front. You just set it on top of the spring, and then you reverse the process, putting your spring back into place and jacking your rear back up and connecting your shocks and your sway bar. Much like in the front, everything in the rear there is going to be 18 millimeters except for the brake line clasp, and that is 10 millimeters. So this whole process takes about an hour. I remeasured at the end. We got a full 2 inches out of it. It's not enough lift to make a difference on your track bar or anything. It's not going to push your rear or anything out of whack. You can just do this lift straight if you want, and don't really need a whole lot else with it. Some people like to add shock extensions on it. I ran around for almost a year without them, never had any issues on it. So just all adds up to what you want to add to it. So, but that's a quick and easy way to do a 2-inch spacer lift, and thank you for watching.